get into the next segment because, recently Ravens have done a couple of things injury-wise. They placed Gus Edwards on the, before the season PUP list, which means he cannot play until week 4. Right. I'm sorry, until after week 4. So he's going to be missing the initial part of the season. And then Travis Jones got hurt in the fourth quarter of the recent game. And whether or not he should have been out there, I know a lot of people have been coming for John Harbaugh. I'm okay with that decision because the Ravens just didn't have, they were resting Michael Pierce. Yeah. He wasn't playing, so they just didn't have the depth to be able to say, hey, defensive tackles play every snap, because defensive tackles don't play every snap. Most of them do not because the stamina just takes so much out of them. But ends up getting hurt. Looks like he's going to be out 3 to 5 weeks. If you don't know, the season starts, in 2.5 weeks, I believe, from today's date, which is just absolutely insane to me. But Travis Jones could be out, week 1, maybe through week 3.
Yeah, like 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. So, Joshua, how do the Ravens deal with these situations? We can start off with Gus Edwards. How do you think the Ravens are going to approach the I'll say RB2 situation?
I mean, we've been talking about it. Gus and JK. They're like they're the best of both worlds, night and day type of situation. You can't have lightning without thunder, and that's who they are. So granted, he is going to be missed, for these first 4 games, but I don't feel like the production is going to be missed because we just saw these first 2 preseason games. Mike Davis is running hard. He's running like he's 22 years old. Shout out to him. To the new addition to his family. Just had a baby, I heard. And he's looked so good. Even when you see him in the pass pro, putting somebody on their backside. Tyler Beatty, even though he's a little guy, he's still shifty enough. He's still effective in the pass, and he also, he's a strong built guy too. If you want to even make if we want to take our Saginaw Valley State guy, shout out to them. They do play Bowie State this year. Go Bulldogs. Nate McQuarrie, I don't know about you. I don't know about you, McConnell, but he look like he's moving a step quicker. So, it look like the game is now truly slowed down for him. Now, Justice Hill is now finally a late bloomer, but I don't feel like he's going to be part of, the running game. So I don't feel like the carries or the yardage is going to be missed with Gus Edwards. I feel like we're still going to get the same type of production with the rest of the committee. Now, when Gus Edwards come back, we had to see, what type of Gus that we have now, because we still want a high octane Gus Edwards behind a J.K. Dobbins, but at the same time, you're coming back from an ACL tear, and they didn't discuss what else was part of that tear, because for J.K. to be able to fight his way on the field and get on the PUP list, and Gus to still be working things out. We've been knew that it was more serious, but it was never explained to the media, which is totally understandable. So when it comes to Gus Edwards, I feel like we're going to be fine. We got a big running room. We got a big running back room that's ready to eat.
Yeah, I like your takeaway on kind of how the Ravens are going to deal with the situation, because I agree with you, because after J.K. Dobbins, I don't think the production is going to fall off. Now, I will say I don't think it will be as explosive, but in situations where, and I can't tell if this green dot's on my screen or just on my forehead. I think it's just one on my screen. Okay, good. I had a big green dot right here, and I was like, what's going on here? My camera broken, but overall, Mike Davis is going to be able to be, the thumper, to start the season. And he's going to come, J.K. Dobbins is going to be explosive as always, Mr. 6 yards per carry in his rookie year. And they're going to be running read option. Remember, that was the problem with the Ravens run game last year, was for most of the beginning part of the year, they couldn't even run read option. They couldn't, get Lamar moving and have misdirections, because it was there's no chemistry. And it was very difficult for them to do. Latavius Murray, not a running back that recently has had to do any sort of read option game, neither with Devontae Freeman, neither with Le'Veon Bell. So it was difficult. Now, J.K. Dobbins, we know he can do that. Mike Davis has been practicing with the Baltimore Ravens. We know Justice Hill's been working with the Baltimore Ravens, for the last 4 years. So they're going to be able to run their offense no matter what with all of these running backs. JK is still going to be the same guy. And then Mike Davis is going to be that, kind of bruiser that, is just trying to be that, similar. I know Ezekiel Elliott gets so much slander. I still think he's a really good running back in the NFL because it's just consistent 3.5, 4 yards.
Yeah.
Is Zeke going to break a 45-yard touchdown run and break 8 tackles? No, probably not anymore. But he's going to hit you, head to the ground and run someone over and fall forward and get those necessary yards. Mike Davis is going to be that type of player. However, when Gus Edwards comes back, Gus Edwards is a little bit more explosive. He's a little bit quicker. He's a little bit stronger. And so he's going to be able to start getting those. That's when the Ravens offense is just going to get so much more, difficult to defend, is when it's like, oh, every single player on this team, when they touch the ball, they can have a big run. Gus Edwards has had multiple 40-plus yard touchdown runs, in his career so far. And he's at, a lot of them have come in really big moments because he just, breaks an arm tackle. They ran a blitz. They tried to stop the run and he gets through to the second level and he's got speed to take it to the house. So, overall, the numbers, the production, I think it's going to stay pretty similar. But at the same time, I think it's going to end up being where we're going to notice when Gus Edwards comes back because the 20-yard runs, the 15-yard runs, even the 10-plus yard runs, those are going to start increasing from the guys outside of J.K. Dobbins.
Definitely agree. And then, another thing about that, when Gus Edwards comes, we're going to know somebody's either getting traded or let go. The only person I see that might be able to be traded and it might be serviceable enough is Mike Davis, honestly. And it's no disrespect to him or nothing. It's just like, yo, you did your job. You know why we brought you in. Let's see if we can get you. Let's see if we can get you at home. Possibly see you in the playoffs, and get a 4th round pick, get another 4th round pick out of that. We know how to get gems in the 4th round.
Yeah, and so let's get into the other guy that's hurt, Travis Jones, because Travis Jones, we've talked about it. This dude has been balling in the preseason. This dude's been balling throughout camp. The defensive Isaiah Likely, some could call him. What are the Ravens in trouble without him? Because it was like with him, it felt like, hey, the Ravens are going to have a pass rush because he's going to take double teams. It's going to allow other guys in situations because I don't think Michael Pierce is getting double teamed. I don't think Madubuike is getting double teamed. How overall does this affect the Ravens pass rush the first couple of weeks of the season?
I don't think it's going to affect them as much. Of course we haven't seen Justin Madubuike get his work in, but we got to think about it. We do get Michael Pierce back, even though Michael Pierce, yes, I know he's a run specialist, he's a run stopper specialist, but he is going to be. Unfortunately, Mike McDonald is going to have him in there during pass plays. Calais Campbell, he still knows how to make his presence known. Right now, I think the big factor is Madubuike out of all 3 of those guys. Just how much has his offseason workouts with, Aaron Donald and how much work he's been putting in the offseason, how much is that going to contribute to his play on the field? Because, look at Aaron Donald. He can take the center. He can take both guards. Hell, if he lines up in the outside gap, he can take the guard and the tackle. If Justin Madubuike can just take a little bit of that energy and apply it to this season and apply it to the pass rush, that helps a lot because honestly, yes, we're still working on our edges, but these past 2 preseason games, I don't know if you peeped it, McConnell, that pass rush has been coming up in the middle, man. I love what's been going on. I love what Mike McDonald's been scheming up, with Travis Jones. I saw Jeremiah Moon come from all the way from the outside and came right behind him. So I'm loving what he's going to bring. But for those first 3 to 4 weeks, it's going to hurt, but not to a point where it's going to put us in a bad position. There's a lot of analysts saying we could be 4-0. Me personally, I feel like we could be 4-0. Because we all know how the Ravens season usually starts. Sometimes it starts a little. You may have a little competition here, but for the most part, in the beginning, you have let's fill them out type of teams. Because we didn't have the best record, We're not going to have we don't have the big power strength of last year's schedule. So I mean, we benefit from that too. So that's why I've been always been talking about, hey, my guys on the pup list, don't rush them. Let them come back to week 6. Week 6 is where the real dogfight start against the Bengals. So I don't feel like the Travis Jones being out for a while is not going to hurt us as much. Now, if it was like late November, like how David Ojabo, yes, I would say it will hurt us tremendously because now we was banking on 2 young rookies to come out and really add to this defense, and we're going to get them in a later end, and who knows how our season may look from September all the way to like mid-November. But first four weeks, I feel like we still can go 4-0, maybe even 3-1. So I still feel like we can get a decent enough pass rush to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I think his presence is going to be felt when he returns.
Yeah.
The difficult thing is we haven't seen him in a regular season game yet. Even though he's looked fantastic, the Ravens do have 2 starters. Obviously, I think Travis Jones was looking like, hey, maybe he's the starter, on first and second down next to Matabike, and then, run situations, we bring in Michael Pierce, or maybe, if we're playing against the Cleveland Browns, who would like to run it with Nick Chubb on first down, maybe, Michael Pierce is out there, but Travis Jones was like, okay, this guy's going to be the starter. It's going to look more consistent with the last couple of seasons. Michael Pierce is just an upgraded, much upgraded Brandon Williams. So we know what that's going to look like. Is he going to get a lot of pass rush? No. But at the same time, we are going to see that production and stopping the run, plugging those holes and things like that. And maybe we haven't really seen Matabike in the preseason.
Right.
Matabike is a good pass rusher. So, like, maybe we start to see the Matabike breakout, and then we get Travis Jones, and it's like, oh, wow, we've got 2 interior linemen that can absolutely rush the passer, not just rush them, but actually chase them down and get a sack, because that, no offense to Big Baby, I love him. There's no way he's chasing down any quarterback in the NFL unless it's Mr. Big Ben Roethlisberger. Like, I mean, he just too slow.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be really interesting to see the return of him. But, we're the backups that we're subbing in, in passing situations, it's going to be noticed because it's not going to be very good. We're going to be putting in, maybe Broderick Washington on third and 10, which I like Broderick Washington. I think he's a really solid depth, defensive lineman, but we're not going to be seeing him, throwing a lineman off of him and, getting a massive hit on the quarterback. So that's going to be the main difference is, okay, we're not going to get that production initially, but at the same time, majority of plays, we're going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, and McConnell, I like how you you said Travis Jones is an upgraded version of Brandon Williams. But I'm gonna take it a step further. Ravens flock, you might say, hold on, Josh, you're talking too much. You might, McConnell, you might say I'm DTMing right now. But I'm gonna take it a step further. Travis Jones is gonna be a household name, like another great defensive tackle that played for the Ravens. And the household name I'm going to compare him to is Haloti Ngata. Haloti Ngata was athletic. He can run down the quarterback. Hell, he put RG3 out of commission. And he was strong enough to take on the running back. I feel like Travis Jones, he took the challenge of losing the weight, being more agile. We see what he can do, in the trenches as far as his technique, and he's violent as hell. I mean, sorry that he put the hit on Trace McSorley the way he did, but we see that this young man is violent. He doesn't mind, getting his hands dirty. So I feel like, we have a new Haloti Ngata, but his name is Travis Jones.
I like it. I love it. Haloti Ngata was pivotal on those Ravens defenses. We had Ray Lewis, lurking in the middle, but Haloti Ngata on the defensive line, combined with the Terrell Suggs on the edge, that's something that the Ravens have yet to replicate since we lost it.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think Patrick Queen is turning into Ray Lewis anytime soon. I don't think anybody is. But we know how important having a good interior, defensive line can be. It's been something that the Ravens have always wanted to have. And Brandon Williams, unfortunately, the last couple of seasons has definitely been declining in his performance.
Yeah.
He was an older veteran. That just happens with defensive tackles. It's very difficult to have a 15, 16, 17-year career as a defensive tackle. Shout out to Calais Campbell as just a defensive lineman playing. I want to say he's going into year 14, but I love the Travis Jones to Haloti Ngata comparison because Haloti could do it all. And a lot of Ravens, because it's difficult to say because I really like the Chris Jones comparison, but it's difficult to say because not a lot of Ravens fans watch Chris Jones every single week.
Yeah.
We've all seen Haloti Ngata play, or the majority of us have seen Haloti Ngata play and what he can do. And that's a similar skill set to what Travis Jones brings. So I do like that, and I can't wait to see him out on the field, hopefully week 4, maybe week 3, if we could get him against the Buffalo Bills. I think that would be fantastic because I would love to see him put Josh Allen down. But